One of the best places to go hot air ballooning in Turkey is Görem in the Cappadocia region. It is an easy day trip from Istanbul. It takes about 9 hours to do the 750-kilometer trip. Pickup at the hotel is at an unearthly hour of 4:30, as ballooning starts at 5:30. Taking off before sunrise adds a mystical quality of light, which changes constantly as the sun appears. It is interesting to note that 2 Frenchmen launched the Globe, as it was called, the first hydrogen balloon, in 1783. It traveled 24 kilometers and reached an altitude of just over 900 meters. It landed in Gonessa near Paris, where the locals attacked it with pitchforks and completely destroyed it. We are packed tightly in a basket, and the burners are fired, and we are ready for liftoff. Extra hot air is sent up in order to fill the envelope of the balloon, as it is called. An average of 100 balloons take off each day, carrying between 18 and 24 passengers per basket. Between the 1st and 10th centuries AD, Christian Cappadocians chiseled homes in the soft porous rock, trying to escape a Muslim onslaught at the time. Beneath these rock formations is a network of subterranean cities which housed up to 10,000 people. The largest settlement which was discovered was almost 10 levels deep, with narrow passages connecting the floors, more or less like hamster tunnels. The tiny holes in the rock face are actually pigeon homes. The locals at the time used to collect the birds' droppings for use as fertilizer. We slowly move away from the ancient chiseled cities to explore the seemingly surreal landscape. As we slowly soar skyward, balloons join us from below. Patchwork patterns start appearing in the fertile fields. We hover over a strange and rugged landscape caused by repeated volcanic eruptions. The lava flows formed tough rock, which wind and rain sculpted into flowing valleys with curving cliff faces and pointy, fairy chimneys. Looking down at this landscape, it feels as if we have been transported to another time and place. The small town of Görem in the province of Cappadocia looks like a miniature red-roofed settlement. It is hard to believe, but this is where all the balloon companies are situated. Since the balloon moves with the direction of the wind, we felt absolutely no wind, except for brief periods during the flight, when the balloon climbs or descends into air currents of different direction or speed. Most hot air balloon launches are made during the cooler hours of the day, either at dawn or 2 to 3 hours before sunset. At these times of day, the winds are typically light, making it easier to launch and land the balloon. Our ballooning experience offered a perfect bird's eye view of the surrounding countryside. As we went, it was exceptionally calm and silent, except of course when the propane burners were firing. Other balloons which accompanied us added colour and gave a three-dimensional view of the area. Opening the burner sent hot air into this balloon so that it rose above the rocky cliffs. As I mentioned earlier, around 100 balloons take off, one after the other, so we had constant companions along the way. Before a safe hot air balloon flight can begin, the pilot must check the weather and select a suitable takeoff point. The current weather and forecast weather must have sufficient visibility for the pilot to see and avoid obstructions. There should be little or no fog or low clouds. The wind must be sufficiently slow to allow takeoff and landing. Less than 10 or 15 km/h wind is required, depending on the skill and experience of the pilot and the ground crew. The takeoff point must be large enough to lay out and inflate the envelope and be clear of obstructions such as power lines, poles, trees and buildings. Floating hundreds of meters up in the sky, we never know which way the wind will take us, as each hot air balloon trip is a unique journey and sightseeing adventure. Some of the balloons drift quite far away and reached high altitudes. Others, similar to ours, stay quite low so that we can enjoy the ever-changing landscape. Gliding close to the varied rock formations, peaks and valleys gives us an opportunity to appreciate nature's handiwork. The pointed rocks, or fairy chimneys as they are called, were formed by deposits that erupted from ancient volcanoes approximately 9 to 3 million years ago. The rocks of Cappadocia eroded into hundreds of spectacular pillars and minaret-like forms. Gorem became a monastic center in 300 to 1200 AD, as the villagers carved out houses, churches and monasteries from the soft rocks and volcanic deposits. The sun is up and the lighting is perfect for photography, but we have to slowly start the descent before the wind increases in intensity. This balloon looks quite precarious, drifting so close to the fairy chimney. Looking at this landscape, one could not imagine or believe that Cappadocia has one of the world's oldest wine industries, dating back some 4,000 years. The Hittites were the first to recognize the volcanic soil's vinicultural qualities, and they carved their cellars in the soft and porous rock, which kept the temperature almost constant throughout the year. It is time to slowly cool the balloon by turning down the burner and to start looking for a suitable landing spot. The shape of the envelope is still intact and full of hot air. Gradually, the hot airflow is restricted and the balloon steadily starts collapsing. It becomes floppy and we slowly descend. The pilot lands us safely upright on a trailer, which will then head back to the starting area. Ground staff appear and assist in finally folding the balloon in order to get it ready for another day.